Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle and I am super excited to do this video because it is almost October and that means Victober 2020. This is a reading challenge hosted by Katie from Books and Things, Kate Howe, and Lucy the Reader, where we read all things Victorian. And I just really love Victober. Last year was my first Victober, but this year is my first Victober with a booktube channel. And so I am just super excited to read Victorian literature and to make some videos coming up in October about what I've been reading. Now, one of the challenges is to dress Victorian when you read one of the books, and I don't have anything like that, but I have just gotten this Harney and Sons Victorian London Fog, and isn't this tin gorgeous? So this is some tea that I will definitely drink while I am reading some of these lovely Victorian books. So let's get into the challenges and I will show you my TBR for Victober 2020. Challenge number 1 is Katie's challenge. Read a Victorian book that equates to your favorite genre. My favorite genre is mystery, specifically historical mystery. So how could I not choose a Wilkie Collins? I love Wilkie Collins so much, but I have actually only ever read The Woman in White and The Moonstone. Now granted, I've read both of those multiple times, but I thought this was a great opportunity to read something new from Wilkie Collins, and so I have The Dead Secret, and he wrote this in 1873, it looks like. And I don't know if this is the only illustration or not, but I love illustrations in the books. So, this apparently was Collins' first full-length puzzle romance. Here he broke away from his youthful style to experiment with and refine those techniques of plot construction and surging narrative which he was to employ the next decade in his famous novels. The Dead Secret, as with Collins' later works, centers around a socially and morally questionable event, from which all incidents derive and towards which all characters inevitably move. The Secret, identified with the Cornish mansion Porthgenna, has all but ruined the life of the young servant girl Sarah Leeson. 15 years later, it comes back to confuse and haunt Rosamond, the heir to Porthgenna. Collins' talent for eccentric characters is given full scope in the misanthropic hermit Andrew Treverton, his bullying servant Shrowell, and the actress whose powerful will lies behind the secret. The Dead Secret is a relentless quest to uncover a forgotten crime. The heir's detective work must finally lead to a disastrous revelation. Of Wilkie Collins' 30-odd novels, The Dead Secret has, before now, been one of the most difficult to obtain. It has not been reprinted anywhere since the beginning of the century. This 1873 edition includes 5 illustrations by A.E. Abbey. The Victorian fiction revival continues with this unusual Collins novel, only available from Dover. So I am really excited to read The Dead Secret. The second challenge is from Lucy. Read a Victorian diary or collection of letters. I found on my Kindle I got The Letters of Queen Victoria, a selection from Her Majesty's correspondence between, and we didn't get the full title there. Oh, here we go. Between the years 1837 and 1861, published by authority of His Majesty the King. So yeah, I thought that was interesting to read the letters of Queen Victoria for Victober. The third challenge is Kate's challenge. Read a new to you book or short story by a favorite Victorian author. And so I decided to read Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. I really enjoy Elizabeth Gaskell, but I have not yet read Wives and Daughters. This is her unfinished work, and it is massive, so we'll see how I get along with this for Victober. And the fourth is the Reader's Challenge. Read a Victorian book from a previous TBR or one that you've just really wanted to read. This is actually a reread for me, but I just read The Warden and I want to continue on in the series, and so I want to read again Barchester Towers by Anthony Trollope. I have read this before years ago and I just remembered really enjoying it, and so since I recently read The Warden, I wanted to continue on in the series, and so I'll see if I get to Barchester Towers by Anthony Trollope. And then there's a read-along, and that is Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. And so I'm going to attempt to join the read-along as well. Now, I know that this TBR is pretty ambitious, so we'll just see what I can get read in the month of October. When I was watching Kate Howe's video announcing Victober 2020, she recommended Adam Bede by George Eliot, which I've chosen to include to see if I do get to it, but the reason was because that she said that there are similarities to The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and I love The Scarlet Letter, and I didn't know that about Adam Bede, and so I've included it on my TBR. If I get to it, I get to it, and if not, I'll read it another time. But that intrigued me that there were similarities to The Scarlet Letter. And then I have a couple other books that don't have anything to do with the challenges, but definitely have something to do with Victober. And so one, a nonfiction that I thought I should include is Queen Victoria by Lucy Worsley, 24 Days That Changed Her Life. So this is a biography of Queen Victoria, but I really was fascinated with how Lucy decided to tell this story, and so she's choosing 24 days in the life of Queen Victoria, and so I find that fascinating, and so I will start to read this for sure. I may not finish it in the month of October, but I thought it would be interesting to read about Queen Victoria while I'm reading Victorian literature. And then just for fun, to lighten things up a bit, I also got out my first omnibus of the Mrs. Jeffries Historical Mysteries by Emily Brightwell, and this is Mrs. Jeffries Learns the Trade. These are Victorian mysteries. Mrs. Jeffries is the housekeeper of an inspector at Scotland Yard, and her and the staff get themselves involved in the cases that the inspector does. She wants to ensure that he does well in his job, and so she helps him out by getting involved. So these are very light-hearted historical mysteries, and I've read the first one, but it was a while ago, so I might read it again and then continue. So the three books in this omnibus are The Inspector and Mrs. Jeffries, Mrs. Jeffries Dusts for Clues, and The Ghost and Mrs. Jeffries. So that is my TBR for Victober 2020. Should I attempt to hold this up? We'll see. Now that I know is a very ambitious TBR, and if I finish just one, I will be happy. So are you participating in Victober 2020? I would love to hear what you're gonna read down in the comment section below, and I will see you for another video soon. Bye.